To order. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is disclosed or acted upon. In accordance with provisions of this act, the State Board of Education has caused notice of the meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Department of Education, Secretary of State's office, and notice has been given to the State House Press Corps, the Governor's office, and the State Board agenda subscribers. And as a quorum is present, this meeting will now come to order. May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you very much, Board Member Bennett. May I please have a second? Thank you very much, Board Member Shahada. And now we're going to go into executive session to discuss things that are not things we can discuss in public. So whereas in order to protect the personal privacy and to avoid situations wherein the public interest might be disturbed, the Open Public Meetings Act permits public bodies to exclude the public from that portion of a meeting at which certain matters are discussed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that consistent with the provision of NJSA 10:4-12B, the State Board of Education will now adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel and legal matters. May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Board Member Shahada, may I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much, Board Member Aponte. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. All right, we're going to go into executive. Thank you so much. Motion carries.
Remember that teacher who changed your life? You could be that teacher. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the country with competitive salaries and valuable benefits. Be that teacher. Visit teachinspire.nj.gov. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You could be that teacher in New Jersey. You'll help shape the next generation alongside a dedicated community of educators. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the country with competitive salaries, valuable benefits, and a solid pension plan. So be that teacher. Make an impact. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey. To learn more, visit teachinspire.nj.gov. If you're a teacher, you've had students tell you how much you mean to them. And for everyone who does, more feel that way but may not say it. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You're that teacher to a lot of people. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey. If you're a teacher, you've probably had students tell you how much you mean to them. And for everyone who does, there are more who feel that way but may not say it. You can't know how many, but it's more than you think. Because you've done more than teach. You've inspired. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You're that teacher to a lot of people. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey.
¿Recuerda a aquel maestro que le cambió la vida? Usted podría ser ese maestro en Nueva Jersey. Únase a la comunidad de educadores que ayudará a formar a la próxima generación. Nueva Jersey cuenta con algunas de las mejores escuelas públicas del país, con salarios competitivos, beneficios atractivos y un sólido plan de pensiones. Sea ese maestro. Deje huella. Enseñe, inspire. Nueva Jersey. Visite teachinspire.nj.gov.
Remember that teacher who changed your life? You could be that teacher. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the country with competitive salaries and valuable benefits. Be that teacher. Visit teachinspire.nj.gov. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You could be that teacher in New Jersey. You'll help shape the next generation alongside a dedicated community of educators. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the country with competitive salaries, valuable benefits, and a solid pension plan. So be that teacher. Make an impact. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey. To learn more, visit teachinspire.nj.gov. If you're a teacher, you've had students tell you how much you mean to them. And for everyone who does, more feel that way but may not say it. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You're that teacher to a lot of people. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey. If you're a teacher, you've probably had students tell you how much you mean to them. And for everyone who does, there are more who feel that way but may not say it. You can't know how many, but it's more than you think. Because you've done more than teach. You've inspired. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You're that teacher to a lot of people. Teach, inspire, New Jersey.
¿Recuerda a aquel maestro que le cambió la vida? Usted podría ser ese maestro en Nueva Jersey. Únase a la comunidad de educadores que ayudará a formar a la próxima generación. Nueva Jersey cuenta con algunas de las mejores escuelas públicas del país, con salarios competitivos, beneficios atractivos y un sólido plan de pensiones. Sea ese maestro. Deje huella. Enseñe, inspire. Nueva Jersey. Visite teachinspire.nj.gov.
Remember that teacher who changed your life? You could be that teacher. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the country with competitive salaries and valuable benefits. Be that teacher. Visit teachinspire.nj.gov. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You could be that teacher in New Jersey. You'll help shape the next generation alongside a dedicated community of educators. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the country with competitive salaries, valuable benefits, and a solid pension plan. So be that teacher. Make an impact. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey. To learn more, visit teachinspire.nj.gov. If you're a teacher, you've had students tell you how much you mean to them. And for everyone who does, more feel that way but may not say it. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You're that teacher to a lot of people. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey. If you're a teacher, you've probably had students tell you how much you mean to them. And for everyone who does, there are more who feel that way but may not say it. You can't know how many, but it's more than you think. Because you've done more than teach. You've inspired. Remember that teacher who changed your life? You're that teacher to a lot of people. Teach, Inspire, New Jersey.
Is it working? Yes. Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy June. Can't believe summer's here already. I'd like to reconvene and resume the public portion of our meeting. Whereas, consistent with the provision of NJSA 10:4-12B, the State Board will now adjourn from executive session to resume the open session portion of our meeting. May I please have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you very much. Board Member Pena, may I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure who was first. I'm Mary Bennett. Thank you, Board Member Bennett. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we're moving forward with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mary Beth Berry will help us on that and lead us. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Our state board meetings are accessible to the public for viewing on the department's YouTube channel. I would like to advise you that YouTube provides readily accessible language translation options with closed captioning. If you are viewing this simulcast presently, you may use the settings option in YouTube for information and for subtitles. Automatic translations and closed captions are available in multiple languages. Now I'd like to ask for an approval of our minutes for May 7th, 2025. May I please ask if anyone would...
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Second.
I appreciate it. And we have a motion and we have a second on the table. All those, does anyone have anything to correct on them or to change about them? Hearing nothing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Board Member Ponte, thank you. All right, public testimony. As we stated last month, the State Board will not accept public testimony today as there are no topics for discussion. In July, the State Board will accept public testimony on the proposed amendments to Chapter 27, which is regarding student transportation. State Board members Jeanette Pena, Mary Beth Berry, Claudine Keenan, and I are scheduled to sit for testimony in July. I'd like to please present and introduce our State Board representative. For those of you who don't know her, her name is Anna Pascowitz. She's a senior at Palmyra High School in Burlington County. So Anna, good morning. Welcome. We're thrilled to have you. And I believe that you have some final words for us today as it's your last month.
Yes. Thank you, President Goldenberg, and good morning, everyone. This month, another school year reaches its conclusion. The end of the year is always filled with students packing up their things for summer and tearful seniors graduating and preparing for the next chapter of their lives. I myself graduate in just under 2 weeks, and sadly, that isn't the only chapter being closed. Today is my last meeting as the student representative to the New Jersey State Board of Education, and I am truly sad to say goodbye. This position has taught me so much, both about our education system and about myself. School is so incredibly important, as it not only teaches children the knowledge they will need to be prepared for their futures, but also fosters a community that teaches fundamental values such as empathy and persistence. As someone who has always loved going to school, I understand that not every student shares the same sentiment. School can be, and certainly is, a place of anxiety and stress for many. My goal this year was to share the honest student perspective of our education system with you, and I have genuinely enjoyed writing about various topics impacting New Jersey students, such as cell phone policies, artificial intelligence, and mental health initiatives. I hope that my words have resonated and made a positive contribution to the deeply meaningful work that you all do. As sad as I am to be leaving, I am excited to see all that my successor, Kaylin DuRose from East Brunswick High School, will accomplish. As for the next step in my life, I will be attending Boston College and majoring in psychology, with hopes of eventually completing my doctoral degree and becoming a clinical psychologist. I hope to work with children and help the next generations be as happy and healthy as possible. It is also my goal to run for my local school board as an adult, to keep advocating for positive changes in education and ensuring that all children enjoy going to school in a supportive and inclusive atmosphere every day. I would like to conclude my final report by saying that I am so thankful to each and every member of the board for being so welcoming and taking the time to read my reports each month. Every meeting, I have learned something new, and I have seen the truly magnificent impact that this board and the Department of Education has on the education of me and my peers. Witnessing firsthand the hard work of this board and the Department of Education makes it clear how and why New Jersey's public schools are #1 in the nation. I would like to specifically thank Ms. Diane Schoner and Ms. Stephanie Russo for their constant support in helping with my reports each month. Thank you to the New Jersey Association of Student Council Executive Directors, Mr. Lou Miller and Mr. Alex Mazzella, who helped facilitate this position. Finally, I owe a huge thank you to my two incredible student council advisors at Palmyra High School, Ms. Kim Martino and Ms. Kelly Jones, who supported me in every way and spent so much time with me at numerous meetings each month. I am very lucky to have such dedicated advisors who encouraged me to pursue the position of State Board of Education representative. In closing, I would like to say how incredibly grateful and proud I am to say that I received a New Jersey school public education. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the State Board of Education, I would like to express my deepest appreciation for you serving as student representative to our State Board of Education. You have been an amazing student liaison for us. Not only have you been here and offered true student perspectives on the issues that we've been consulting and discussing, you also have continued your academic and your personal success and sports and everything that you do during this school day in your senior year. So I'd like to ask you kindly to keep in touch with us and let us know how it's going. Anna will be going to Boston College, so I know they're lucky to have you. I'd also like to thank, and please if you'd stand up, Ms. Kelly Jones and Ms. Kim Martino. And thank you for being such tremendous advisors. That helps the students so much. Anna, the State Board and the Commissioner would like to recognize you today and for your commitment that you've given us this year. Therefore, I would like to ask the State Board members to consider a ceremonial resolution in honor of Ms. Anna Pascowitz, 2024-2025 Permanent Student Representative to our State Board. And may I please have a motion before I read the resolution?
Motion.
Thank you very much. Board Member Shahada, may I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Board Member Bennett. I would now like to read our resolution. Whereas Anna Pascowitz, a student from the Palmyra High School in Burlington County, has served with distinction as the student representative to New Jersey State Board of Education from July to 2024 to June of 2025, and whereas Anna has steadfastly performed her duties as the State Board's liaison to the Student Council and has been an admirable representative of both the New Jersey Association of Student Councils and the Palmyra High School, and whereas Anna participated in State Board meetings by making monthly presentations and were forward-thinking, well-researched, informative, and beneficial to all of our State Board members. And whereas Anna took great effort to survey her peers, to discuss with school officials and inform at our monthly State Board presentations, which included the topics such as cell phone policies, the use of AI, artificial intelligence, and advocacy for peer-led initiatives and other programs to address students' mental health needs. And whereas Anna further elevated the student voice by offering her insights by serving as a panelist alongside members of the State Board at our New Jersey School Boards Association Workshop 2024. And whereas Anna has an obvious interest in and understanding of issues affecting her and her student peers, as demonstrated through her participation as an active member of the National Association of State Boards of Education High School Transformation State Network Student Advisory Council. And whereas Anna's academic career demonstrates that she is a very accomplished student, and her leadership in athletic activities and community service demonstrate Anna's valued contributions on both local and state levels, and therefore be it resolved that the members of the New Jersey State Board of Education and Commissioner of Education, Mr. Kevin Damer, extend their sincere congratulations and appreciation to Anna Pascowitz for a job well done. And may it further be resolved that the New Jersey State Board of Education and the Commissioner of Education acknowledge Anna Pascowitz's personal and academic excellence, as well as her leadership qualities, and we all wish her continued success in her future endeavors. So, may I please have a motion and a second and any discussion regarding to accept this resolution? Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Please say nay. Any abstentions at this time? The motion carries. Thank you so much, Anna, for everything you've done for us.
Thank you.
And if any, yeah, are there any comments at this time from board members? Thank you. I believe Dr. Keenan will speak first.
Thank you. Anna, I want to thank you for all that you brought to us. We started on the same day. Our first board meeting was my first board meeting, and it just won't be the same without you. But I'm very much looking forward to your successor. And I also want to thank your advisors and your parents for sharing your gifts and your talents with us. It's not without a great big team that this success like Anna's doesn't come together. So thank you.
Any other board members at this time?
Anna, you and I have spoken a couple of times. First of all, congratulations on your decision to go to Boston College. The last time we talked, you thought you were almost there, but I see you are there, and you're already imagining yourself on that campus. Working with young people is what this work is about, and Anna exemplifies a thoughtful, responsible young lady who took it as a serious charge to be the voice of other students in the state of New Jersey. And whether she spoke about mental health, cell phones, AI, it was always well researched, and she was reflecting not just her opinion, but the opinion of the rest of the students. So I congratulate you. It's been a pleasure to serve with you, and do stay connected with us. We still need your voice. Congratulations.
Thank you, Board Member Bennett. I think, please, our commissioner would like to say a few words now.
Just really quickly, I want to reiterate that what you bring each month, I think, brought a lot of insight. And then I just want to talk about your future. I'm really excited about where you're headed. That's really exciting. And for somebody your age, looking ahead and saying, I want to get a PhD, shows the kind of drive. That's something that I would like to encourage for all of our students. That's incredible. Just one piece of advice as you head up to Boston, bring a snow shovel.
I thought you were going to ask for lobster rolls. Okay, enough about that. But I also would like to, the most important people who have probably given you the most support are your parents. Would you please stand up, Mr. and Mrs. Pascowitz? Without such parents, she never could have accomplished this. So congratulations to you both. We'd like to give, if you, Okay. All right. That was remarkable. She's great. All right, now I'd like to please ask Mary Bennett, the chair of the nominating committee, to make her report for the 25-26 school year. Thank you.
Thank you, President Goldenberg. State Board members Jeanette Pena and Claudine and I requested information from our fellow board members regarding their interest in serving in the leadership roles of President and Vice President for the 25-26 school year. The committee considered all information submitted and is recommending Kathy Goldenberg for President and Ned Johnson for Vice President. As stated in our bylaws, the election itself will occur after June 30th. That is my report.
Thank you very much. And I will start by saying I appreciate everyone's support, and we have terrific board members, and I just thank you. Do you want to say anything?
I too would like to thank the nominating committee and the other board members. This has been an interesting and learning experience for me, serving in leadership this last year, and looking forward to continuing in that capacity for the next year. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so next we'll go ahead with our State Board Committee report. Our Administrative Policy Committee met on May 29th, 2025, and Elaine Bobrove is our chairperson. So I will turn it over to Board Member Bobrove. Thank you.
We're going to be talking today about ETS and Praxis, or Praxis 2. The attendees at the meeting were myself as chair, Kathy Goldenberg, ex officio, Joseph Ricca, Mary Bennett, Jeanette Pena, and Mary Beth Berry. DOE staff members, Kevin Damer, Commissioner, Laura Console, Chief of Staff, Jesse Young, Deputy Chief of Staff, Chris Huber, Special Assistant, Kayla Secular, Senior Policy Advisor, Ambrose Duckett, Assistant Commissioner, and Paula Bloom, Executive Director, Division of Field Service Support Services, Ranai Singh, Director, Office of Recruitment and Certification and Preparation. And finally, but certainly not without a lot of work, the State Board Office itself, Diane Schoner and Beth Auerswald. I name all of these names because I think it's important for the public to realize how many people are involved in trying to make sure that the laws and the things that we do in this in the Department of Ed and with the Board of Ed are those which really are been thought about carefully and dealt so far. The Administrative Policy Committee meeting met on Thursday, May 29th, 2025, to discuss practice resolution, revised tests, and qualifying scores. Praxis are a group of tests given to those to assess prospective instructors, teachers, as to their ability to teach in different fields. ETS is an organization that sets cut scores that are satisfactory to the majority of states so that instruction is uniform among the majority of states. Over time, some skills are automatic and no longer need to be specifically included, while others need to be added. In Praxis 2, 3 domains are addressed: technology and engineering education, family and consumer science, and social studies. Today, the Department of Education will be discussing this more fully before it is voted on. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Board Member Bobrode. And now I'll turn the meeting over to our Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam President. And today I'd like to welcome Katrina McCombs to join us, Superintendent of the Camden City School District. And she will provide an update on the annual report of the district's growth and progress, including a plan to continue to move the district forward. Superintendent McCombs will be joined by Hakisha Taylor, the School Business Administrator. And as you know, Superintendent McCombs will be leaving Camden at the end of the month to join us here at the department. Very excited. I would like to take this opportunity to commend her on the work that she has done in Camden over the course of the last 7 years. She's led the district through COVID-19 pandemic, opened the new Camden High School, and led the charge for the new construction of the East Side High School. She's also implemented changes to improve and stabilize the fiscal office and put supports in place to continue the district's academic growth. And with that, I want to turn it over to Superintendent McCombs. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm not sure if this is on. Should I just speak louder? It's on. Testing. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Commissioner, for that very thoughtful introduction. Good morning to all of you, to our esteemed members of the State Board of Education, to all of the members of the staff and the greater community of New Jersey who are present. As was already stated, my name is Katrina T. McCombs, and I'm the proud, humble, and just excited superintendent of the Camden City School District. Before I begin the annual report, I'd like to just introduce a few members of my executive leadership team who have joined me today, and I'll ask them to stand when I call their name. Dr. Dana Walker, our deputy superintendent. Ms. Hakisha Taylor, our school business administrator and board secretary, Ms. Teresa Reese, chief talent officer, and Ms. Sheena Yera, chief communications officer. Additionally, several other key members are present today, and I'd like to publicly thank them for their presence and for their commitment to the work of the district. I'm also grateful for the presence of so many who have come from the Camden community. There are parent groups that are represented, as well as other partners here today. So I just wanted to acknowledge their presence before moving on. So we can move on to the first slide, and I just want to reground us all in the district's vision. So the vision for the Camden City School District remains that all students will attend a high-quality school where they are valued, which is critically important, where they are welcomed, where they're challenged and prepared to positively impact their community and the world. This vision is a cohesive gel which anchors every action, every decision, and our goals and strategies as we focus on providing each student with a high-quality education. So the next slide, I just have a few areas that we will concisely as possible, update the board on, and they are listed on the agenda that is in front of you, ranging from NJ CUSAC updates as well as moving through to our Teach Camden initiative. Next slide, please. And you can move to the next slide. Okay. Yes, thank you. And so it's very important that we consistently update the board on our CUSAC progress. And this slide just succinctly and quickly reflects the results from the district's full CUSAC review, which was conducted in April 2024. While we saw strong performance in operations at 92%, governance at 87%, and personnel at 87%, the scores in fiscal management and instruction and program triggered the development of a district improvement plan, which was formally approved in May 2025. We are actively implementing strategies aligned with our district improvement plan with targeted efforts in these areas specifically ahead of the interim review scheduled for November 2025. Next slide. And so this slide is important because as we think about the state-operated district of Camden City, and we look back to the early stages of intervention, we know that the difference between where we were then and where we are now with regard to CUSAC scores is clear and evident. So to place our most recent scores into context, while our district has seen the sustained progress in most CUSAC domains over the past decade, we experienced a slight decline in 3 areas: instruction and program, fiscal management, and governance. The scores in instruction and program and fiscal management fell below the 80-point threshold and triggered the development of the district improvement plan that I just spoke about, which was approved. Governance, while still strong at 87%, showed a modest dip from the last year's high of 94%, which we are addressing through enhanced board documentation practices and improved public access. These shifts reflect a combination of lagging post-pandemic academic recovery challenges, evolving compliance standards, and intensified review criteria. In response, the district has implemented focused strategies ranging from strengthened instructional interventions and certification tracking to audit process improvements to ensure we're aligned with the CUSAC standards. We remain confident that these efforts will lead to stronger outcomes in the November 2025 interim review. Next slide. So in addition to the progress the district has made since state intervention in the area of CUSAC, we have made notable improvements in the management of the district's finances, specifically over the past 5 years. Next slide. As shown in the chart, the district has made steady progress in reducing audit findings over these past years, dropping from a peak of 27, which I inherited in fiscal year 17, to just 3 in both fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 24. For fiscal year 23, there was a total of 3 audit findings. 4 findings from fiscal year 22 were cleared, 2 findings from fiscal year 22 remained, and 1 new finding was identified. And then for fiscal year 2024, 1 finding from fiscal year 23 was cleared, 2 findings from 23 remained, and 1 new finding was identified. And so this continued progress reflects our commitment to strengthening our internal controls and improving fiscal practices across the district. And we have indicated in our corrective action plan specific steps to take in order to ensure that we go from 3 audit findings now down to 0. Next slide. And so also in thinking about the district's financial history, as you can see in this graph, just over half, of the district's current budget immediately went out to charter and Renaissance schools for tuition. The annual fluctuation and unpredictability in the amount of tuition from year to year makes it challenging for the district to plan or sustain longer-term projects. The next largest expenditure category is support services, which largely represents personnel costs and health benefits. Next slide. If you take a look at this slide, just to provide a bit more context, you can clearly see how the shift in student enrollment directly impacts the district's budget. Over the last several years, spending on charter and Renaissance school tuition has increased dramatically, rising from $157 million in 2020-21 to over $221 million projected for 24-25 in the audit. This trend has accelerated to the point where it has created a structural imbalance, a consistent structural deficit in our budget. As more public funding follows students to charter and Renaissance schools, the district is left to maintain facilities, staffing, and programming for fewer students in district-run schools. But I want to be very clear, this is not about blaming families for their choices. I'm a parent. I have a choice as to where my students attend school, and all of our parents deserve the same. We understand and respect that families are doing what they believe is best for their children. But as a district, we have a responsibility responsibility to acknowledge the financial impact and to share very transparently what that financial impact is of the shift and to make necessary adjustments to ensure we can continue delivering for the thousands of students still in the district's direct care. Any sustainable plan for the Camden City School District must reflect these enrollment and funding realities. Our goal moving forward is to realign our resources continuously in a way that is both fiscally responsible while still maintaining a student-centered approach. Next slide. So one of the most significant and ongoing challenges the district faces is declining enrollment in district-operated schools, which I already alluded to, but just wanted to provide a visual for where we were in 2013-14 at about 11,800 students, down to a projected 5,904 for the upcoming 25-26 school year. And so this trend, coupled with declining birth rates throughout the city, has a direct impact and compounding impact on our budget, ultimately reducing the total revenue available to support district-run schools. And so just the simple reality, I won't belabor the point, but it does bear repeating. The simple reality is that we are operating a system built for almost twice as many students as we currently serve. That includes maintaining buildings, staffing levels, and programming for an enrollment base that does not currently exist. So it calls for continued innovation in thinking forward about what can be done in order to make sure that regardless of the shifts in enrollment and the shifts in finances, that we still are able to provide a quality education for our young people. Next slide. And the next slide just shares in a pie chart format the breakup of schools by enrollment. So as illustrated in the chart, Renaissance schools now serve the largest share of Camden students at 41.8%, while district-operated schools account for 36.5%, and charter schools make up 21.8% of the enrollment. And so I want to also note on this slide that tuition costs for Renaissance and charter schools are projected to be $28 million higher than our fiscal year 24 year-end total and $9 million higher than what was budgeted in fiscal year 25. So again, we remain committed to increasing our district enrollment because that is something also that is within the district's locus of control. These unpredictable tuition increases pose long-term sustainability challenges for our budget planning. And so one potential solution would be to establish stabilization aid that would protect the traditional school district from budgetary shortfalls tied to enrollment shifts. Next slide. And so all of the previous slides that I shared build up to this slide that I wanted to make sure that the State Board was aware of, which you likely are, but just to share why we had to conduct right sizing, right? All the slides that I talked about regarding enrollment and also regarding finances show that we have to right size to meet the needs of our districts, of our district students in our current reality. So as we prepare for the 25-26 school year, we are navigating one of the most difficult transitions in recent memory, particularly when it comes to staffing. Our overall staffing is projected to decrease from 1,618.5 full-time equivalents this school year to 1,331.5 next year. That's a reduction of 287 FTEs across the district. Of those, 113 are reductions in force, meaning they directly impact people currently in roles, and they include 32 central office staff members, which is approximately 16% of the total central office staff, 77 school-based or non-central office positions, which is roughly 6%, and 4 part-time roles, which makes up 27% of our part-time staff. So we were able to minimize some of the people impact of this right-sizing action. 34 staff members were placed into other available roles. 4 individuals are not being renewed due to performance, and 97 vacancies were eliminated to avoid filling positions we could not sustainably fund. We approach this process with the utmost care and dignity, prioritizing the protection of classrooms. It was our aim to protect student and family-facing support positions, but the size of our deficit left us with no choice but to cut key student and family support positions. Still, we know these numbers represent people, colleagues, mentors, and friends who have made meaningful contributions to our schools, and we respect them. This is not a moment we take lightly. These decisions were driven by the need to stabilize our long-term financial standing while continuing to center students in every choice and decision we make. The next slide also shares a few of the additional actions that were put into place in order to ensure that we were able to bring our deficit in line and present successfully a balanced budget for the upcoming school year. And they are listed before you: restructuring of the Camden High campus, making sure that we're just being more thoughtful with the number of administrators who we have in that building. So instead of 4, there will be 1 principal and with the support of 4 lead educators. We've also expanded grade offerings in some of our family schools to fill out the capacity levels of those family schools, which are pre-K through 8 schools in our district. We've reduced contracted services, reduced vacant positions, reduced overtime expenses, changed the use of title funding, and also re-examined our building usage fees. And all of those efforts combined with the cuts that I talked about previously regarding staffing led to us being able to close our $91 million deficit and move forward in a right-sized manner. Next slide. And so I want to take a moment and pause because that's a lot of information. As I say it again, the human side of me thinks about the individuals, but we also know how critical and important it is for us to make sure that we center our students and the future of the district and our students in every decision that we make. So I want to shift for a moment to talk about some of the ways that we've been able to provide upgrades to our facility in order to make sure that the Camden City School District is also competitive when it comes to the learning environments that our young people are educated in. So thanks to federal ARP funding, we've been able to make meaningful upgrades across our district to enhance learning environments and improve student safety. These improvements, and these are just a few pictures that we were able to pull, include new auditorium seating, which was needed, desperately needed, upgraded gymnasium floors, renovated stairwells and entryways, and updated playground equipment, to name just a few of the areas. We still have projects, of course, that we are going to work on, but as you can see, we have been able to just bolster, especially some of our older buildings, our 100-year-plus buildings, with some modern amenities that our students are deserving of. Next slide. We've also been able to invest in transportation, and in October, some of the members of the State Board had the chance to come to the Camden City School District to visit, and we welcomed you and had a wonderful day. And some of you had a chance to experience a ride in our buses. Over the past 3 years, Camden City School District has taken a proactive approach to rebuilding its transportation infrastructure. During the pandemic, we were at a place, a very difficult and traumatic place, where we were not able to provide transportation immediately following, the pandemic. When students returned to school, we were not able to provide transportation to all of our students and had to provide waivers that were approved for families to transport their students. And that was because we did not have our own busing system, but we also did not have, there was a shortage of drivers. And so we've been able to build back very strong, and every eligible student has a guaranteed seat on our buses starting on day one of school. We've strengthened routing logistics to support academic equity, including CTE programs and other after-school activities. 5 district-owned buses now support displaced student transportation, helping us significantly reduce high per-student costs. This year, we continue to prioritize efficiency and access. Shuttle services are now available for students living 1.5 to 2 miles from school, increasing safety and access for families previously outside the eligibility range. We diversified our vendor partnerships with 4 active providers. Our district is a provider, First Student, Holcomb, and Maytav, covering a total of 135 plus daily routes. By leveraging larger vehicles and smarter routing, we've achieved a $1.8 million net reduction in transportation costs, a result of shifting displaced student transport away from high-cost county contracts to more efficient in-house service. So through smarter operations, early planning, and a commitment to student safety and access, the Camden City School District continues to provide reliable, cost-effective transportation to every eligible student in Camden. And I did take some time there because it was truly traumatic, and I'll say it one last time, when we were not able to do that. And the district has come a long way, and that's thanks to the brilliant team that we have. Next slide. So on the next few slides, I'll provide updates in instruction and programming. So the slide that is before you now provides some information on citywide progress with regard to NJSLA. In spring 2024, the Camden Education Fund issued a report compiling recent student learning data to provide an overview of trends both leading up to and following the pandemic. One of the key insights from that report was that when looking at citywide trends, combining results from all Camden schools, including traditional district, Renaissance, and public charter schools, students were beginning to rebound from pandemic learning loss. The data showed that Camden is recovering at a pace of academic growth that exceeds the statewide average. We have a long way to go. I'm not saying that we've arrived at by any means, but the growth shows that we are moving forward, and that continued growth will be able to help our students to continue to move forward. On the next slide, and to provide a bit more insight into the Camden City School District NJSLA performance analysis, prior to the pandemic, the district was making steady incremental progress. A significant number of students were growing 1 to 3 grade levels in reading, and our overall proficiency rates were on the rise. Following a year of fully remote learning and 2 years without NJSLA testing, we did see a dip in performance in both ELA and math. While our scores have not yet returned to pre-pandemic levels, the latest data shows early signs of recovery, particularly in English language arts, where we've seen consistent gains across the last 2 years. For the 2023-24 NJSLA, overall, we observed growth and slight increases in both ELA and math performance. Our students are showing steady incremental progress again, and so it is at this time that we need to double down on those efforts that were able to get us to this point as we are filling gaps. So the numbers represent on grade level mastery of skills and standards, and we know that we have closed the gaps in many areas in order to get students to this place. Now it is time that we take the opportunity to specifically look at those students who are in areas where they're right on the cusp of moving into our proficient and advanced proficient areas and double down on the supports that are there. So these are our highest proficiency rates since returning from the pandemic, signaling positive momentum. Math continues to be an area of focus, but we are committed to building on this progress and expanding the support of our students, the support that our students need in order to thrive. Next slide. And so there has been some growth while we continue to address the post-pandemic learning gaps that lag. This year's results show notable progress at the school and grade level, particularly in grades 3 through 5, where strong gains are helping to drive our upward trend. In ELA, schools like Caddo, Coopers Point, H.B. Wilson, Davis, and Forest Hill show double-digit growth. For example, Caddo's 4th grade ELA scores grew by 24.4 percentage points, exceeding that state average growth. In math, multiple schools demonstrated significant improvement across grade levels. Forest Hill, Yorkshire, and Roletta Cream all had strong 3rd grade math gains, while Caddo posted double-digit growth in both grades 4 and 7. These gains reflect the impact of the targeted supports that we have put in place, increased instructional time, and strategic leadership. We are continuing to collaborate closely with school teams to identify and expand upon what is working and double down on those efforts. It's also important to note that many students, especially in the early grades, made meaningful shifts out of level 1 and 2 performance bands, even if they haven't yet reached proficiency. This early movement is an encouraging sign that interventions are taking hold and will lead to even stronger outcomes in the years ahead if they are consistently applied. Next slide. And so that is where we are, but what are we going to do to make sure that we do double down our efforts to support our young people in accelerating their academic outcomes? So as a part of these ongoing intervention strategies, the district is focusing on the 4 key areas that are before you for this school year to accelerate learning recovery. In the area of data analysis, intense focus on monitoring the implementation of annual school plans, utilizing multiple data points and triangulation to ensure and solidify student skill mastery, conducting program audits and evaluations to ensure effectiveness, pivoting as necessary to produce optimal student outcomes, prioritizing instructional strategies that will develop student mastery of anchor standards. In the area of instructional leadership, there are identified focal points that are before you: climate and culture, and teaching and learning. We want to double down in teaching and learning on high dosage and high impact tutoring. The district, through a grant offered by the Department of Education a couple of years ago, was able to work with the New Jersey Tutoring Corps and to support a focused effort at our Veterans Memorial School. And we saw tremendous growth, over 100% growth. But that growth was in bringing students who were way behind up to on grade level standards. And so we're doubling down on those efforts that have shown that they work. We are hopeful that and confident that we will be able to produce even greater outcomes for our young people. Next slide. And so Eastside High School Project, Commissioner talked about the early stages in our advocacy for an Eastside High School for our students in the city of Camden. So as many of you are already aware, the development of the new Eastside High School is underway, marking a significant milestone in our community.
Just 1 second.
Absolutely.
Before we move on to this, if we could, maybe we just pause. We've covered a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
And see if any board members have questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions so far?
Please, Past President Aponte.
Thank you very much for your presentation and
You're
just
welcome.
a wealth of information. So I greatly appreciate us taking a pause a minute to reflect on some of the data that you
Absolutely.
presented.
Thank you.
In terms of your enrollment numbers, for the citywide, it's about 16,000 based on the chart that you presented earlier, and about 64% of the population is served by either charter schools or Renaissance schools.
Yes.
And then you provided a chart showing the, I guess, the latest updates from, bear with me for a second, these, on your NJSLA performance analysis. I'm just curious to know, how does the district outcomes compare to the charter school and Renaissance school communities? Reflecting on the earlier decisions to expand charter school and Renaissance schools under another administration, the hope was that overall all boats will rise in the city in terms of student progress and student success. So just curious to know, how does the district and the numbers that you presented here compare to the charter school and Renaissance school populations?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question, Board Member Aponte. You're absolutely right. The Urban Hope Act, when it came about, was to support our struggling school district in order to make sure that we could produce better outcomes for all of our students in Camden. And so since the advent of Renaissance schools in the district, what we have seen is that all boats are rising, to utilize your terms, but at different rates and at different levels. And so currently, the district, even though we are seeing gains and steady incremental gains to bring us back to pre-pandemic levels, the district it's not an equal on par with charter or Renaissance schools. As a matter of fact, traditional charter schools in the city are performing and producing the highest outcomes, which we can provide those specific statistics for you. And then Renaissance schools, and then the traditional district schools. So even though all boats are rising and all parts of the unique ecosystem that we have in the city of Camden are producing positive outcomes, there is a differential between the rate at which those outcomes are being realized.
It'd be helpful for us to see that data.
Okay.
I'd like to see the full picture of
Okay.
what's happening across the city, and certainly recognizing that you have greater challenges in terms of managing your facilities and dealing with the enrollment decreases and just trying to maintain your infrastructure with limited resources. And I recognize that, so I want to note that. And but I still would, again, I think it'd be important for us to see the full picture across the city.
Absolutely, and we can provide that information to the board. Yes.
If I could just
President
ask, so
Goldenberg.
on page, oh, it's not numbered, I'm sorry. The district enrollment history, that particular slide. So you mentioned in your report that you've been trying to keep all the programs, even though the enrollment has gone down. Have you merged any of the schools, the students, so that since it's, so many less students, have you merged any of the schools and put teachers together with students so that you could keep all of the opportunities for students?
Thank you so much for that question, Board President Goldenberg. So yes, about 4 or 5 years ago, we underwent a very painful school closure process where we closed 3 of our schools. We're going to close 4, but we're able to keep 1 open. So we closed 3 schools, and we're able to consolidate those students into other buildings so that we could build the capacity in those areas. What we did this past budget cycle is to right-size staff. So even with closing schools in the past, the district had not cut drastically the number of employees. Those employees just follow the students to their new schools, and we cut around the perimeter. But this deficit that we have been led to this year, which we were successful at filling for the upcoming school year, we had to consider some other strategies, which I mentioned before. One of the things we are doing next year, we have a standalone Morgan Village Middle School that will be converted into another school, alternative placement school, 7 through 12, which will help us to support those students who are most vulnerable while having our middle school students go back to their family schools. And so that's another way that we can efficiently utilize our staffing model in order to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible. So yes, we have in the past, there have been several school closure efforts early on in state intervention in around 14, 15, there were other school closures. So these school closures have happened. We're at a place where we're able to I don't believe we need any more school closures, but we need to just make sure that we are very wisely and frugally using our expenses.
Well, I just meant also not so much about closing the schools, but about making sure that you had the available staff for the students to have all of their choices in their curriculum.
Yes. And so one thing at the Camden High campus for next year, because we we'll have one principal over the 4 schools that are housed on the campus. It has provided us, and we've started it in the past couple of years, with the opportunity to make sure that we can share staff amongst more students to reduce the reliance on substitutes, and also those other vacant areas that we were not able to fill. So we have seen some success with that, and in our new model at the Camden High campus particularly, we will be able to see that realized even in an even greater way.
And class sizes, has that changed?
So class sizes, we have been able to maintain class sizes even in moving into this next fiscal year. We were able to prioritize making decisions along with doing a lot of brainstorming with the commissioner and his team to make sure that we could protect class sizes, because we know that if we want our students to accelerate, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, we have to have small group instruction, one-on-one instruction, individualized tutoring, and so the class sizes that we have are definitely going to, maintaining them will help us to continue those efforts. So we did not have to increase class sizes.
Great. My last question is about
Sure.
the busing.
Yes.
So you had mentioned anyone up to 1.5 to 2 miles, or over 1.5 to 2 miles gets busing.
Yes.
But I thought in the past it was more so that they tried to get, I thought Camden tried to get busing for most of the students so that there was less traffic and less.
So
Has
we
that
also,
changed?
so we still have courtesy routes,
Okay.
and those courtesy busing routes would cover any individuals, any students who have to travel through areas that are not safe. So even if it's below the mileage requirement, we still offer that.
Wonderful.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
You're welcome.
President Goldenberg, question. Could you elaborate on what family schools are?
Yes. Thank you.
Please.
Yes, thank you, Board Member Bennett. Family schools are pre-K through 8 schools. That unique configuration is not just unique to our district, but it does allow for students to be able to be educated in an environment that feels like a family. So if I'm in the same school building from pre-K through 8th grade, I'll have stronger connections, stronger relationships. Families tend to trust those schools because they know the individuals there. They've seen their students and multiple generations go through those schools, but it just provides our students and also our middle school age students the opportunity to transition into those middle grades without such an abrupt transition that often, not always, often standalone middle schools would pose. Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions at this time? Yes, ma'am, please. Board Member Pena.
Yes. I did see that you had a reduction in 1.8 million in transportation. I'm just curious, what is the overall cost?
Thank you. So for transportation, I am going to lean on, for the overall cost of transportation, I'm going to lean on my school business administrator to get us the best number. Thank you.
Our transportation costs are around, I think it's not. Transportation costs are around 23 million.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, please, thank you. Thank you for entertaining
No
our
problem.
questions.
Thank you. It gave me a chance to catch my breath. And thank you, and to get a drink of water. Thank you so much. And so the positive update, the new East Side High project, we are very excited about this project. Our East Side High School students and staff transitioned to the Alfred Kramer Elementary School in September of this year. So this was their first year being housed in a building that was not their high school. Demolition of the old East Side High School building began in January of this year. And on the next slide, you'll see, and I won't go into detail because you have it in front of you, but at the East Side High Kramer location between March and August of 2024, we were very busy. The district was busy completing repairs and upgrades to that location for use as the East Side High School swing space. The Alfred Kramer School is one of the schools in the district that was previously closed due to enrollment challenges, and so we were able to breathe new life into a building that was in the district's portfolio and maintain it for use for traditional public school students. And so the repairs, some of them included upgrades to plumbing, cosmetology labs, new lighting, HVAC repairs, et cetera. And so they are all listed in front of you. The one point that I would like to mention is that this was a consolidated effort. The school district, the Schools Development Authority and the district negotiated a $7.7 million funding agreement for the necessary upgrades and repairs for the Eastside High swing space at Kramer School. So this was definitely a collaborative effort, and because of that, staff from Eastside High were able to move successfully into the building at the beginning of this school year, and we are looking forward to the day when they can move into their new high school. Next slide. This slide just shows just a few pictures for a quick visual of what that swing space, the Eastside High School at Kramer, looks like. Again, we took an old building that was closed and we're able to work with a whole lot of team members and partners in order to make sure it was ready for our young people. So Eastside High School continues to strengthen its career and technical education offerings to ensure students graduate with industry-relevant skills and real-world readiness. The cosmetology program, while space limited, is fully outfitted to simulate a professional salon environment, allowing students to complete the full cosmetology curriculum and gain hands-on experience in hair, skincare, and beauty services. In automotive technology, students benefit from a cutting-edge learning environment that includes virtual reality technology and state-of-the-art automotive trainers that align directly with the ASC-aligned curriculum. At Eastside High School also, we offer extensive dual credit programming. These partnerships, through partnerships with Stockton University, Rowan University, and Camden County College, students can earn 20 credits in the education pathway through Stockton University, 4 credits in computer-aided design or CAD with Stockton University, 14 credits in graphic arts through partnership with Stockton University and Rowan University, 4 credits in business entrepreneurship through partnership with Stockton University, 3 articulated credits in automotive trades through partnership with Camden County College, and then 4 credits in writing for media through a partnership with Stockton University, and the list goes on. But again, I just wanted to highlight some of our partners who have been we've worked with in developing our higher ed partnerships to support our students who are in the swing space at Eastside High School. And so in addition, Eastside offers an early college program in partnership with Rowan, enabling students to earn up to 24 college credits before graduation. And many early college participants are also enrolled in CTE programs, earning additional credits. Next slide. This next slide just gives a high-level overview of the Eastside High School construction process. And since our last presentation, the district teams have worked closely with the New Jersey Schools Development Authority and the architect that has been selected, DIG, to develop the target space program and concept for the new Eastside High School. This was approved in April, and the schematic and bridging design began in May, kicking off phase 3 of the project. And so we look forward to the new Eastside High School scheduled to open September 2029. Wanted to make sure you were aware of all of the offerings that will be provided at this new high school, which are very critical, and they're offerings that our parents, our community has been asking for many, many years. Next slide. Also shows more target space information. And so the next portion, I'd like to just talk a little bit about our career and technical education. One of our key areas in the district is making sure that our young people have that they know that they have many different options for their postgraduate journey. And so career The district received only $87,000 in Perkins funding. By strategically expanding program approvals, we have increased that amount to $206,000 for 24-25, which even if that doesn't seem like a lot of money, it still provides us with more opportunities to support our young people who are exploring these pathways strategically. And so on the next slide, what you'll see here are just a few exciting developments within our CTE and dual credit pathways. 7 students in the Allied Health program are on track to complete their patient care technician coursework and clinical rotations at CamCare Health Corporation in Camden. They have already earned their CPR and basic life support certifications and are now eligible for phlebotomy, EKG, and patient care technician certifications. It bears worth repeating again. I have it there as first in the state, but Camden City School District was the first in the state to launch a pharmacy tech course. So in our pharmacy technician program, a student from our first cohort has been hired by Cooper University Hospital. So long story short, we want to make sure our young people are able to get and develop the skills necessary so that they can successfully walk into jobs right in their city. All right. And so Cooper Hospital is a large employer. Walgreens. There are so many others. The nursing program at Villanova, we have a student who will be enrolling there as well, and so many others that I could share. But it's just so critical that we continue to double down on and also to scale up our efforts in these areas. Particularly, I want to highlight our education pathway. So the district recently partnered with Stockton University's Tomorrow's Teachers program. Through this partnership, students at Eastside High School in the education pathway can earn up to 20 college credits by the time they graduate, giving them a strong head start to work. High and Eastside High through an FDIC partnership launch. And planning is currently underway to launch the advanced manufacturing and welding programs at our new Eastside High School. So again, I just want to share that the programs are growing and are meeting our needs as we try to as we successfully prepare our students to be able to meet the industry demands that are in the city as well as across the country. Next slide. Just show some pictures of our students taking their place in CPR and AED, Automated External Defibrillator certification. So as a part of our commitment to equipping our students, our CTE programs continue to offer CPR and AED certification training. And so we are excited that our students are moving successfully through those pathways, and we're looking forward again to increasing our ability to attract more Perkins funding so that we're able to provide more and more opportunities. But this is a highlight that I thought was very important for the State Board. Dual credit partnerships. I spoke a little bit about this, but we know it's critically important for our students to be able to earn as many college credits as they can so that the cost of a college education comes down for them. And so as of now, 100% of the district's career and technical education pathways offer students the opportunity to earn college credits. And so we have built up incredibly by partnering with the organizations that you see listed. And next slide just gives a highlight of the Rowan Early College program. We are pleased to share that this program has impacted 32 students this past school year, and they are well on their way to their post-high school graduation. This program provides support not only to our students, but also to their families as they're supporting them to become successful graduates and then transition into college and careers. And we are almost there.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely, please. Yes.
You can get another drink of water.
Thank you. Absolutely. Stop me anytime. Yes.
I see you're growing your dual credit partnerships, and I'm looking at Camden County College. Is there a hope, a plan that eventually your students at the high school would be able to complete an associate degree at the same time that they complete their high school diploma requirements?
Yes.
And then be ready to go into possibly Rowan as a four-year partner, fully accepting their associate's degree?
Yes. And that's what we're building up to in that area, but absolutely, that's the goal. Thank you, Board Member Bennett. Rutgers. So we do have wonderful partnerships with Rutgers. Board Member Aponte. Understand. So we do, I'll say really quickly, Board Member Aponte, and shame on us for not having it highlighted. We had so many other logos here, but we do have a rich partnership with Chancellor Tillis and the team at Rutgers and Camden. We have an MOU that's in place that supports us from in many different areas as we work with our partners at Rutgers. Point noted. so noted. So noted. Thank you. Any other?
Yeah, please.
Keep going.
Continue.
Okay. Thank you. And so for student engagement, this past year, the district created a new Office of Equity and Engagement to align and focus efforts to increase student engagement district-wide with a greater intentionality. And the reason for this is on the next slide. When we look at student chronic absenteeism, the 7-year analysis for students in the district, this chart shows that in 2019-20, we reached our lowest chronic absenteeism rate at 20.1%. That was just prior to the pandemic. However, in the years following school closures and hybrid learning, chronic absenteeism surged, peaking at 67.2% in 2021-22. And this has been previously shared, but it was so critical for us to respond in new and different ways to figuring out how to engage our young people. And so as you can see, although we are still trying to bring down our chronic absenteeism rates, they are moving in the right direction. And so what we are doing, we have attendance intervention school teams that are in place, home visits and family engagement strategies, improved access to transportation, and school-based attendance incentives are just a few of the ways that we are engaging our young people and also their families in getting their students to school on time. Every day, if you take a look at the next slide, you will see that while our average daily attendance rate has remained consistent at 87% over the last 2 school years. As I stated before, we know we have pockets of students and families that continue to exhibit high chronic absenteeism, so we're providing as many supports to those families as possible. But what we want to share is that 180 fewer students were chronically absent to date in the 24-25 school year. And so that shows us that we have to continue to double down on those efforts of engagement that are working to expand and intensify the impact there. Additionally, our schools, New Jersey tiered systems of supports teams are working strategically to monitor student attendance trends and identify appropriate interventions for students who are on track to be chronically absent or have a history of chronic absenteeism. So on the next slide, what you will see
Could you just give an example of what you're doing for those supports that you're trying?
Absolutely. So for our supports that we're trying for student attendance, we have an initiative called the Attend Today, Achieve Tomorrow district-wide initiative where we provide incentives to schools. We are highlighting those schools at our board meetings who grow in their attendance rates, trying to just build up that positive momentum and energy around having great attendance. We also engage in, and I mentioned visits, so our attendance officers and our current dropout prevention officers on our engagement team work to identify those individuals who are categorized as being in danger and working with them and their families in order to provide supports, phone calls, conversations, connections to resources in the community to help remove those barriers to attendance. So we try to take a very customized approach because all of our families are different, but we do have a team this year who will be able to work on those areas.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so when we think about the school climate and student engagement, it's critically important that our young people feel that they have strong relationships with the individuals that they come in contact with every day, but also other opportunities to learn how to solve problems, conflict resolution, and also engage in activities that are going to help them to be successful. So this year, the Division of Equity and Student Engagement, in partnership with school administrators, behavioral support staff, teachers, and guidance counselors, produced an implementation guide in support of our district school climate vision. And so that guide, which you see a little bit of the pictures in front of you, Cultivating Invincibility, focuses on building those relationships through integrating restorative justice practices, social emotional learning, and trauma-informed practices in alignment with the NJTSS framework. So again, our Win from Within, some of the outcomes that we've been able to see from this team working very diligently are a 44% reduction district-wide in the number of days absent due to out-of-school suspensions over the last 3 years, equating to more than 1,700 additional days students were in school. In schools where deans of climate and culture were in place, there was a 58% reduction in days missed due to out-of-school suspension, resulting in nearly 1,300 additional days of high school student attendance. We also saw a 26% decrease in incidents district-wide, representing 3,000 fewer behavioral incidents. And this year, 100% of our schools have developed care teams, and these care teams are made up of student support staff, school climate staff, behavior specialists, family and operations coordinators, and health and social services coordinators who have held over 1,500 community building circles. And so these initiatives are not just about programming, they are helping us to build belonging and community, and this helps our students to want to come to school each and every day. And so unfortunately, some of the positions that are mentioned here, we had to right size. So the district will now have to figure out another way to make sure that the gains that we've been able to see through this evidence that I just shared are able to still occur and still be built upon without those critical staff members in place. Next slide. Okay. And so this is just a very brief video that will be played at this time. We work together to coordinate to make sure that things move through. But this is the STAR Innovator Academy program that we have in the district, which helps us to ensure that students are graduating on time, which will increase our graduation rate when we look at our cohorts. This was a partnership with the Department of Ed, as well as STEM NOLA from New Orleans, and also Assemblyman Bill Spearman, who brought this to our district, and we're in the second year of implementation.
The road is long and it gets cold, but I move on, I can't let go.
And there's a lot of violence that goes on around in the community.
My best friend that I grew up with had just got shot 3 days ago.
I'm going to look back, Lord willing, 20 years from now and see some of these same kids that's been in this program in positions of helping, servicing, and giving back.
We began to name ourselves or brand ourselves Innovator Academy because this is innovative. This is something that has not been done in the city of Camden or the state of New Jersey.
I got left back because I missed way too many days of school in the 4th grade.
Once I realized I got left back, it finally hit me that what I was doing wasn't getting me nowhere in life.
I got off a grade level during the COVID-19 or whatever. It was in 5th grade, and yeah, it was hard. I was struggling, then I just stopped doing the work.
The students that we have here, a lot of the ones that have been retained, once or twice they are dealing with outside factors that has nothing to do with who they are as a person.
I'm in awe. Some of them are going through ridiculous obstacles to get here.
The Innovator Academy provides students the opportunity to think out of the box. In most traditional school settings, it's a lot of direct teaching, small group instruction, but in the Innovator Academy, the students are really guiding their own learning.
This is innovative because you have a school within a school. And I think that it was so important for these students who are in the program not to feel isolated because they are behind.
My favorite module in science is plants and pollination. The reason why I love it so much is because the things that we did in it were really just hands-on.
A Star Academy classroom and a regular classroom are way different.
The classroom is vibrant. The chairs are moving, the students are moving.
It's designed also for children to collaborate. The furniture is set up so that we can pull groups, small groups, to do skill reinforcement and the like. So it is definitely a learning environment set up for progression.
The more people see the success stories and hear the success stories about how our young people were actually able to utilize this unique partnership to catch up and move forward, the more it will impact our district positively and our community.
And hopefully, we will be the flagship for other communities to look at and say, hey, that worked in the city of Camden. We would love to try this in our city.
The progress from when I have them in September and they're struggling to do certain activities, and then by the time it's May, they can do it with their eyes closed. It's just fantastic to see their growth.
I'm doing 2 grades in one. It's phenomenal. It's 3 months of just 7th grade instead of my full 180 days I would normally do. And then for the rest of the year, 8th grade work, it's challenging, but it gives me hope that I can do my best.
I have one student, because he's such a hands-on learner, the first activity that he did, he was like, I am so glad I'm here. Class was really fun today. And those are not things you normally hear in a math class.
The sky is the limit. An innovator is one who innovates and just creates his or her own lane. So we are innovators.
I can't let go. I came too far, came too far. I move on, I can't let go. I came too far, came too far.
In the city of Camden, and so since the implementation of Innovator Academy, we have been approached to expand that program. And the reason it's so critical, as I shared before, is that our students, especially many of those who fell behind, who are overage and undercredited, they are able to catch up before getting too far gone into high school where they just give up hope and drop out. And so this has provided hope. We've heard testimonials from families, from the children about how this has impacted them and educators. And so we have been approached in order to expand our reach with this program. And so we are looking forward to servicing 40 students, which we started out with 20. And so the next cohort will be 40 students. And so we're hoping to get at a point where we won't need a Star Innovator Academy program because everyone will be caught up. But we know that there are students who slip behind, and it is our job to figure out innovative ways to keep them on track. So we do look forward to that grant funding as well as the partnership to continue to support our young people. And the last slide is our Teach Camden program. So we talked a little bit about the national teacher shortage and being excited that our students at Eastside High School are able to, be inspired to become educators. We also, in the district, are pleased to announce that through a partnership with Rowan University College of Education, we are piloting Teach Camden. And this partnership is a paraprofessional pilot program and a strategic initiative designed to address the educator pipeline shortage by supporting paraprofessionals on their path to obtaining their teacher certification. This program was launched during this school year, the 24-25 school year, with 19 individuals. And so we are excited to say that we have 13 individuals pursuing elementary education, 4 ESL, and 1 physical education instructor, and 1 seeking social studies. And so our participants in this program are provided with Praxis core test preparation supports, weekly tutoring sessions, monthly professional development, and again, this is all being done in partnership to ensure that we're able to grow our own in support of meeting the teacher shortage challenges and just the demands that we have in our own district for teachers. And so I know that was quite a bit, and I tried to share a lot. There are so many things I did not share, but I wanted to be able to share, and probably because as I am transitioning from this role of serving the district that poured so much into me, I just want to do my best to provide in a very transparent way where our district is, so that as we transition to new leadership, there is an opportunity to just grow upon, especially those positive foundational points that have been created. And so just wanted to provide you with as much information as possible to inform you as the board, the commissioner, who we're always in contact. But just thank you for the opportunity to do that. Any other questions?
Board members?
I just have, not a question, but just a comment. I'd just like to commend you and your team, and in particular your students. I know when we did our visitation in the fall, and we got an opportunity to personally engage with the children and see that hope, that inspiration, that education provides for them, knowing that they are going to be given certain opportunities. And some of the resources, some of the materials that we saw are state-of-the-art, the best that are available, and to see the kids be able to explain exactly what it is that they're learning. When they can teach other kids or explain exactly, like, what did you learn from that particular lesson? And they can say it to you in their own way. That makes you know that the teachers are making a difference, and that the kids are learning and growing. So I just thank you, commend the district for working against the odds to get our kids to where they need to be, just knowing that they can soar to the future. So just thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President.
I believe next is Mr. Ponte. Okay.
I just want to echo Vice President Johnson's comments regarding your leadership, and I want to also thank you for the leadership in the district. You have served as an effective leader during the most difficult times in arguably public education, given the pandemic and given the changes within the district. And as you mentioned earlier during your presentation, just trying to manage a district with enrollment that has changed dramatically over the many years. And so thank you for giving the students and their families hope. And I think your leadership was instrumental in providing that. And again, I don't know what your next sort of phase of your career or what's your next steps, but I do want to take the opportunity to again thank you for the commitment, thank you for the dedication and serving the community of Camden. I did have a question for you as well, and that is, if you go, and again, you don't have to have the information now, but if you could respond at some point, when I go back to CUSAC and look at specific areas in programming, learning programming, you had mentioned in your comment earlier that the district is not at par with, for example, the charter school outcomes. And when I'm looking at instruction programs specifically, what are some of the challenges in that category that prevents the district from being at par with charter schools? And again, You may not have the answers off the top of your head, but if you can come back to us, I think, again, instruction and programming would be the most critical area in which we could potentially make progress for the students in the district as it tries to achieve the levels of the charter school population or Renaissance population.
Thank you. Thank you for that question, and I will reflect on it and share that along with the other responses to what's been provided today. I can say, though, at a very high level, some of the points in instruction and programming that we have to do a better job of earning have to do with that growth metric and making sure that we're expanding growth. So we do get credit for growth, but it has to be more accelerated growth in order to show up. So we've revised our curriculums. In the past, when we were at 9% at the beginning of state intervention, only 9%, it was because our curriculums were outdated back in 2011-12. There were a host of things that were not in place. So we built a stronger infrastructure for instruction and programming, but now it's about performance, and it's about actually how many points are awarded to us in that area because our students are scoring at higher levels on the NJSLA. But to your point, to your question, I will in a more thoughtful way kind of look at those strategies that are being implemented that are providing success for other school types and look at what we can do as well.
Great. I'll be looking forward to reading it, and I'll let Chancellor Tillis know that you are going to.
Please don't. He's going to get me for that one as well.
Your relationship with Rutgers.
Yes, thank you.
Board Member Pena.
Thank you for that. Can you hear me? Am I on? Yes. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. I really feel like I've spent a day in Camden going from school to school and visiting, even though I didn't. And congratulations on your upcoming transition to your new position. I just was curious when you were discussing the Innovator Academy. What is the criteria? How are students identified as possible candidates for this program? And are children who receive special education services, are they also afforded this opportunity?
Yes. So students, in order to become a part of the Innovator Academy, students have to be over age and under credit. So at least behind 2 grade levels, whether it came from, it may not be pandemic, but just retention in the past. But for whatever reason, they're not on track. So the top criteria is that we've identified across the district the number of students who are behind in their credits. And so that's the first group. And then to answer your question about special ed, yes, we do service special needs students in our Star Innovator Academy as well. And there are other criteria, but the largest one, because for us, this was a pilot program at first, and we didn't want to limit. So the highest criteria is that, hey, students are behind. And what can we do if their parents also are a part of this process and are, willing and okay for their students to be a part of this, give consent, then we take that into consideration as well, because we need the family as well.
Thank you, and I agree very much. Families are the driving force. Without that foundational support, it's a tough ride.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If I could just make a very fast comment. Sure. When you gave your first presentation to the board,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we were all, well, some of us were here, and your passion and wanting to serve Camden with all of your heart, it was evident then, it's still evident, and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Board President.
Okay. Thank you very much, Superintendent. And just one note, always keeping the students at the forefront. I think this has been mentioned before, but with our conversations, every conversation I hear you have, it starts and ends with students at the forefront. And so I just want to commend you for always bringing us back full focus and being student-centric in everything you do. So thank you again, and appreciate the update, and we will work together to share back responses to all the additional
Absolutely.
questions. So thank you again.
Commissioner. Thank you
Thank
to the board.
you.
Thank you for this time.
And with that, I know many of you have come to join to get this this update from Camden. So we're just going to pause for a moment. So if anybody wants to exit, feel free to do so. And we'll move on to the agenda items and the board agenda items. Excuse me.
Thank you for coming. Do you want to take a break or keep going? Safe driving. We'll continue now with the items for consideration from the Commissioner.
Thank you so much. So we'll move to agenda item A, which is Commissioner Organization Chart. So I'm going to invite Chief of Staff Laura Consul to come up and join us. And as we've continued to work through, I've been here a little over a year now in this role, we've been working to find efficiencies and build effectiveness across our team. So today I'm presenting changes for our organizational chart. They have not been updated since 2022. So it's an opportune time to make these adjustments. So in doing so, we'll be streamlining offices and units based on our current workflows and looking ahead into the future. We're focusing only on those changes that will improve department functionality. We're not rebranding any divisions or office name changes to reflect organizational shifts other than just what's going on within that office. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief of Staff Laura Consul to walk through those changes in a little bit more detail.
Good afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? Almost.
Still morning.
Almost. Okay. So thank you for the opportunity to share with you our proposed updates for our organizational chart. I'll just move this. You can't hear me. Quiet talker, just like you. Okay. So hopefully you can see that. I do apologize. It's a little bit tiny on the screen. We'll start just with the top section there. It's that 4 boxes under the Commissioner. The only shift that we're making here is the Office of Communications was previously under the last reorg from 2022 was under Legal and External Affairs. We are moving it to the Chief of Staff's office, which really aligns with current practice and just helps us make sure that the communications team has access to the most up-to-date information across the department. So moving to the first column on the left there, the Division of Teaching and Learning Services, we are returning the Office of Recruitment Preparation Certification to the division. During the last department reorg in 2022, this office was moved out of the Division of Teaching and Learning Services to Field Support Services. But we've determined that returning RPC to Teaching and Learning will help us optimize alignment between our educator workforce, our academic priorities, and our teaching training priorities. And we're also officially adding, I think it's the last box there, the Office of Learning Equity and Academic Recovery, which we call LEAR, under our organizational chart in Teaching and Learning Services. This is based on legislation that was signed by the governor last August. And as you know, the LEAR office has been up and running since last winter, overseeing our critical literacy and academic recovery work. So just making that official on the org chart. Moving to the second column in from the left, Division of Educational Services. We'll move the Office of comprehensive supports from the Division of Field Support Services to Ed Services, because the work of this office is grounded in federal requirements under the federal ESSA, Every Student Succeeds Act, and the Educational Services Division has oversight over the majority of the department's federal program work. Third column in, Division of Field Support Services. We have a few organizational changes here just to improve operations overall across the department. First thing I'll note is that we've added the Office of School Bus Safety to the org chart. It should be that last box in that third column there. This office is required by law, and it's been up and running for about a year and a half now. So we're just updating the org chart to reflect that statutory requirement. We're also renaming the Office of Fiscal Accountability and Compliance to the Office of Student Safety and School Preparedness to reflect changes to the office's overall structure and scope of work. So criminal history reviews for education personnel and school emergency preparedness and planning work will continue in this office. Other units that were previously assigned to OFAC, which had become a little bit of a catch-all for the department, are being rerouted to other divisions into offices that better align with the purpose and function of what those units do. These units include 2 financial audit units, which will be moving to the Division of Finance and the Office of Fiscal Policy and Planning, and an investigations unit that will be moving to the Division of Legal and External Affairs. Again, we just feel like this is good alignment with the work they're actually doing in these units. Other changes in this division, the Office of Commissions is shifting from Legal and External Affairs to Field Support Services to better reflect the important external field work that our commissions do directly with our school districts. Finally, we'll just note that the Office of Learning Intervention and Support has been removed from the organizational chart. This is an office that has not been operational for some time, but the functions, the intended functions from that office, I think it was created with the last org chart in 2022, but the functions of that office are carried out in other offices in both the Field Support Division and Teaching and Learning Services. And the Office of Interdistrict School Choice and non-public schools, whose functions are largely funding related, is being returned to the Division of Finance, where it was previously housed before 2022, and it will exist as a unit within the Office of School Finance. Just pause for a brief moment. So now we are in the middle here, Division of Finance and Business Services, which, as I just detailed, they'll take on some of that OFAC work in the Office of Fiscal Policy and Planning and the Office of School Finance. The only other change in this division is to merge the Office of School Facility Projects and the Office of School Facility Planning into a single Office of School Facilities. And we're also going to move the Office of Information Technology to Administrative Services. In the Division of Early Childhood Services, the Office of K-3 Standards, which is on the current org chart, will merge with the Office of Standards under Teaching and Learning Services, which is in the Division of Teaching and Learning Services, I'm sorry. Their work streams overlap. This will ensure alignment, avoid duplication of work, and expand the capacity of department staff. So that K-3 standards work continues to exist. It's just in the Office of Standards with all of our other standards work. To help facilitate our universal preschool goals and our considerable growth and access to high quality free preschool across the state, we're building out our preschool offices into 3 distinct yet interrelated offices, as shown on the proposed org chart. So there's the Office of Preschool Education Programs, and then we will also have a preschool expansion office for our new districts coming on for the expansion work that we're doing, and an Office of Preschool Finance, respectively, since preschool finance is a little bit different than your standard K-12 school funding. In the Division of Administrative Services, as previously mentioned, we're moving OIT, which was previously in finance, to Administrative Services. Our OIT office is largely an internal-facing office, so it makes sense to house it with the other internal-facing offices like HR, for example. And finally, in the Division of Legal and External Services, as mentioned, we are moving the Office of Communications to the Chief of Staff. The Office of Commissions is going to Field Services. And the final change reflected here is renaming the Office of Legal Affairs to the Office of Legal Affairs, Accountability and Compliance to reflect the inclusion of that investigations unit that was coming out of OFAC and going to legal affairs. So again, just to reiterate, these changes we think will help us streamline the work and remain focused on providing a high quality education and educational services for all New Jersey students in our school communities. That's all I have for you. Happy to take any questions.
Hearing none.
Thank you
for that explanation. Thank you for that explanation. Hearing no questions at this time, may I please have a motion to accept the organizational chart as presented? Thank you very much. Board Member Shahada, may I please have a second? Thank you very much. Board Member Pena. Any comments before we vote? Any questions, ideas? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll move now to agenda item B, appointments, and we do not have any. It's a standing agenda item. So we can move right on to agenda item C, which is certification of school districts. Since the May board meeting, the executive county superintendents have finalized 19 NJQSAC evaluations for school districts. I recommend 6 of those districts for certification. Ambrose Duckett is joining us along with Robert Gregory. I'll go through the list of the 6 that we're putting forward for certification and turn it over for questions to those 2 gentlemen. Allendale Public Schools in Bergen County, Dumont Public School District in Bergen County, Glen Rock Public School District in Bergen County, Hillsdale School District in Bergen County, Bloomsbury Borough School District in Hunterdon County, and Spring Lake Heights School District in Monmouth County. And with that, I'll turn it over to these gentlemen for any questions you might have.
Are there questions at this time?
I'll just make a comment because I always feel it. So 6 districts are being approved, and I love that we read their names. And it always makes me sad we have 13 that scored below this time. We heard about a lot of great innovations. Camden's doing great things. We've got early literacy. We're coming to the end of the school year. I'm hoping everybody ramps up and we really start saying how we rising these scores in instruction and programming, because they're not at like 78. Some of them are significantly lower, and that's disheartening. So I'm hoping this summer a lot of people avail themselves of some of the great programs that are out there, that we start, leaning into more of this, the literacy piece and the tutoring. But I'm hoping next year we're going to really see a tide change.
Thank you. I believe we will. Mr. Robert Gregory and I communicate continually with the county offices who work directly with the districts to make sure that these districts, the 13 that are on district improvement plans, that they're doing them with fidelity in terms of making sure that they're targeting areas of growth and providing professional development for the teachers, but ultimately providing the necessary supports for the students so that the results will be improved the next go around when they do the interim reviews. But thank you for your comments.
Anybody else at this time? Okay. Hearing no other questions or comments at this time, I'd like to please ask for a motion to approve these districts. Thank you very much, Board Member Bennett. May I please have a second? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Board Member Keenan. Any other discussion before we vote? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Continue the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now move to agenda item D. And today I present for adoption the annual State Board calendar for meeting dates for the 2025-2026 session. President Goldenberg, I'll turn it over to you for discussion and procedural protocols.
Thank you very much. So we sent out the list to the board members and asked if there were any comments or difficult dates for people, and we didn't get anything that was a problem with it. So I would suggest that we go forward with it and go ahead and vote to accept the annual State Board calendar of meeting dates for 2025 through 2026. Unless anyone else has anything to add? Hearing nothing. All right, may I please have a motion to adopt the calendar? Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Board Member Pena, and I believe I hear a second from Board Member Shahada. Thank you. Thank you. All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? This is your time. Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're now moving on to agenda item E, which is resolution to accept donated funds. Today, I'm pleased to announce the Lions Club of Warren Township has generously donated $1,750 to the Marie H. Katzenbeck School for the Deaf for the sole use of supporting student activities such as field trips, yearbooks, and student clubs. Joining us is Kathy Ailing, Esquire, Assistant Commissioner, to answer any questions you might have.
I don't have a legal question at this time, but are there any questions about how the funds should be used or would be used? Or hearing nothing, did you want to add anything?
No, thank you very much.
Okay. All those in favor to accept the donated funds for the Katzenbeck School, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say, oh, did I get a motion? I did not. Let's backtrack. May I please have a motion to accept? Thank you, Board Member Shahada. May I please get a second? Thank you, Board Member Bennett. Now, are there any other comments at this time? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to agenda item F. Today I'm presenting at proposal level amendments and new rules to Chapter 9, Professional Standards, Chapter 9A, New Jersey Educator Preparation Programs, and Chapter 9B, State Board of Examiners. The proposed amendments and new rules are intended to align these chapters to existing statutes, thereby providing clarity to the field. We received a handful of comments from the field. Ambrose Duckett and Paula Bloom are joining us to answer any questions, but the comments doesn't have any proposed changes to what you've seen before, but I'll turn it over to the board for any questions you may have for our colleagues.
So we had a committee meeting about this. Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry. Any other comments at this time? Okay, so we're updating all those. May I please have a motion? Thank you very much, Board Member Bennett. And a second? Thank you very much, Board Member Shahada. Any further discussion about this at this time? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please abstain. Hearing none, this motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I talked previously about governmental efficiency, so I'll ask you two to stay right where you are. We'll move right into agenda item G. Today I'm presenting for discussion the resolution to adopt revised Praxis content knowledge tests and their qualifying scores for technology and engineering education, family and consumer science, and social studies. The assessments, along with other measures, ensure that individuals seeking certain endorsements to the instructional certificate have demonstrated the appropriate level of subject matter knowledge necessary to provide high-quality instruction in the content areas to students. I'll turn it to these folks to present additional details.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, President Goldenberg, Vice President Johnson, and members of the State Board of Education. Mrs. Bloom and I are here to present a resolution to adopt revised Praxis content knowledge assessments. By way of background, Educational Testing Services, or ETS, as it's commonly referred, develops the Praxis Assessment Series, which is the Commissioner-approved assessment series for entry into the educator profession. As the slide is going to state, and states now, ETS maintains the quality of their assessments and establishes appropriate cut scores for revised and new assessments throughout a multi-state standard setting study, which we will describe in further detail, and by we, I say Paula, on the next slide.
Thank you. I'm on now. Ooh.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't need a microphone. Okay, so the multi-standard setting study. ETS regularly engages experts in education to review test content to confirm alignment to current content expectations and standards. The department reaches out through our stakeholders for interested educators to participate in the standard setting study. The outcome of these studies result in updated and new assessments with new recommended cut scores. The resolution you have in front before you requests the adoption of the revised Praxis assessments and newly recommended cut scores for technology and engineering education, family and consumer science, and social studies. This slide may be further in your presentation, but if not, oh good. So, ETS will be expiring the existing tests as of August 31st, 2025. The resolution proposes the State Board adopt the revised assessments and the recommended cut scores effective September 1st. The proposed cut score is the recommended cut score from the standard setting studies. While it may look like we are proposing to adopt a lower cut score for these assessments, the department is not lowering cut scores. We are recommending to adopt the new cut scores, which align to the revised assessments. I'll pause. Okay.
Just to re-emphasize that point, these are two different assessments. So one is expiring on 8/31. We have a new assessment coming in, which has a new cut score associated with it. So just clarifying, these are two different assessments. They're not directly comparable because they're different. And I think as we go, we're going to go on to the detail of exactly how these assessments have changed in terms of content.
Thank you. Yes, we are. Okay. So this slide explains the alignment of the new tests with the national standards. The next slides, I will cover more specific changes between each of the current assessments and revised assessments. I'll just pause for one moment so you can read this if you can see what they're based on. Okay, we'll start with technology and engineering changes. More specifically, the technology and education updated assessment reflects the changes within the standards and the field. The alignment grouped content being assessed and removed content that is no longer a focus for a beginning educator in this field. There was a reduced emphasis on transportation and logistics and an increased emphasis on computation, automation, robotics, and evolving technologies. So the current test topics are on the left. The proposed exams, assessments are on the right. For family and consumer sciences, The category for Family and Consumer Sciences assessment was revised to best align with the national standards and be most reflective of current practice. This involved prioritizing and organizing the 16 standards into 6 categories. Professional teaching practices was added and includes the sub-areas curriculum and instruction and laboratory management. This content was deemed important by the advisory committee members and through 2 external surveys of the field at large. And again, this just shows the comparison. Social studies. The purpose of the social studies assessment redesign was to modernize the approaches, content, and standards used for the assessment to ensure that teacher candidates can better serve the needs of diverse students. The assessment includes content that is more representative of the experiences of diverse groups, more recent historical events and movements than the previous framework, better alignment to standards that have become available since the previous assessment. So many states are going through the same process for which we are in terms of reviewing the revised assessments and the new recommended cut scores, which align to the revised assessments. So here you can see that the technology and engineering education content, there were 14 states that have already adopted the recommended cut score, and there are 3 states that chose an alternate cut score to meet the needs of their state. Adopting scores that are not recommended through the study means they may have not been norm tested and may not result in more prepared educators. This slide shows the adoption for Family and Consumer Sciences, the revised assessment, as well as the recommended cut score. And here, 13 other states have adopted the recommended cut score and 2 adopted alternative cut scores. And finally, social studies. Same thing here. 13 have adopted the recommended cut score and 2 states have opted for an alternative cut score. And with that, I'm going to pause and we are happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Board members? Yes, sir. Arcelia, your first step.
Clarifying question. This is really not an apples to apples comparison. And we are not, just so that, there's no confusion out there, we are not lowering cut scores. We're
Correct.
adjusting our cut scores to reflect the new standards.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely correct. We had the benefit of a meeting that they went through that with the committee, but it's very important to notate that, so thank you. Anybody else have questions at this time? Yes, ma'am. Board Member Berry.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad that we made the distinction that we're not lessening any of the points, even though the numbers look a little different. That's very important. The multi-state standard setting study participants, thank you for sending us that list.
Yeah.
And, I was looking at them for each of the areas. There's like 13 people on that panel. Are they coordinated by ETS? Who's driving this, some of these decisions?
ETS.
ETS, and they bring in these outside.
Yes, and
experts.
ETS is international, so they bring people from all over to work on their standard setting.
I was looking at the states that were represented. I mean, New Jersey has one representative under social studies.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only one. But they come together and they talk about their area of the country.
Yes.
And how these standards should.
And it's much easier now with technology. Years ago, when I worked for ETS, they would fly you to San Antonio or somewhere in Texas, and that's where they would do the standard setting work.
Okay. I was just, only because there's 13 people. I mean, we have a small board, so I guess you get some consensus, and they got a lot of information. But I do think when we're setting standards and we're looking at numbers, that it's really important that we make sure that we're setting the bar exactly where it should be. So thank you for explaining that. It's different questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Board Member Berry. Any other comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, I guess we're just, we'll prepare to discuss it again at our next meeting. But thank you very much. And thank you for the lengthy explanation you made to the committee on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that concludes all of our agenda items today.
All right. May I please have a, well, we're not going to. I can't hear you, Diane. I'm sorry. May I please have a motion to adjourn? Thank you very much, Board Member Aponte. May I please have a second? Thank you very much, Board Member Pena. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. I don't think there'll be abstentions, if there are any abstentions. But thank you very much. And everyone have a great month. Enjoy it. Thank you for being here and being a part of this. We appreciate you. Thank you.